Hello, everybody. My name is Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer, and it's once again the best time of the week, Kobold Chats. It's Friday. It's been a while. It's been a while since the last. Oh, I'm getting a little. My chair is slowly breaking the cylinder itself isn't holding air, so my chair consistently moves down. But I think we're at the bottom now. But I am at the top of my week. Yeah, sure, why not? It's been a while since we've done a Kobold Chats. Life has just been very busy with all of the closing of the Labyrinth Kickstarter, holidays, all of that good jazz. It is what it is, but I'm back because I get to be and I get to do my favorite thing, talk about ttrpgs and Kobold Press with all of you. So thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I also hate it, right? This is like not an old chair. I got it earlier this year, and so the fact that the cylinder is just like kaput, and it's been in long enough that it's hard to take out. Like, it's nigh impossible. Like, I spent a whole day just trying to take it out to put it in replacement. It's not working, so I'm just gonna have to get a new chair, I guess. It is what it is. But we're not here to talk about me and my chair. We're here to talk about this bad boy, the Labyrinth Worldbook. I just got my copy of the Labyrinth Worldbook and Labyrinth Adventures, both limited edition from the Kickstarter. I love it so much. Just the colors, the black, the silver, the red, it's just like when it's on my shelf, it pops. It, like, nothing else looks like this. And just, it's so gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. I did an unboxing video that I recorded. It'll be coming out, I think, next week. So fingers crossed for that, where I show off both of the books. But it's finally here. And now that it's here, that means that we get to take a closer look at it beyond just what the preview and scouting party let us see. Today, we are specifically going to be looking at the lineages and subclasses for the Labyrinth Worldbook because, I mean, we get more things to play with. I really wish the camera would actually focus on it. It gets real mad when there's a thing that isn't just my face. That's pretty good though. Look at that. It's so good. But yeah, yes, the books are all so good, and I just the faux leather, the black, the red change, like, this feels like, I don't know, feels like a powerful tome that now sits on my shelf. I'm thinking I'm going to see if I can put together a game with me and my friends are going on like a vacation in a couple of months, where we're like going out to a cabin. I'm going to see if I can convince them to play through like one of the Labyrinth adventures. That might be fun. But we're here to talk about the Labyrinth Worldbook, and we've got some other things we've got some housekeeping to do. It's been a while, so let's go take care of that. All right. So first and foremost, if you didn't already know, Kobold Press has its Christmas and July sale going on right now, which means, and this is just, I'm gonna, I don't know if this is like public yet, but it's leading up to an even better sale, within a couple of days. So, the Christmas and July sale ends July 13th. So after Sunday, it ends and a new one starts. But the one right now is that on orders orders over $50 get free shipping within the US, which is pretty good, and also like a really easy like threshold to go over, because I was doing the math. Hey, join me on the Kobold Press store. Right, like that's like getting one copy of the Labyrinth Worldbook, and the if you get it, if you get the hardcover, bam, you've got it. You get it, the hardcover and the PDF. Also it. If you wanted two books, hey, let's say if you've never played Tales of the Valiant and you've been hesitant, right? You've been like, I want to see where D&D goes. I want to see where Pathfinder goes, Daggerheart, whatever. You're like, okay, I'm finally ready to give it a try. You can get the pocket editions for the Player's Guide and Monster Vault for, I want to say it's like $60, both of them together, and the PDFs, and you get free shipping. So good. So just wanted to point that out. That goes up until the 13th, and then keep your eye on our socials. We'll have something else for you as well soon. So that's the first thing we want to get out of the way. That does look good. If my current system I want to try doesn't pan out, I think I'm going to go all in on TOV. I like it better than 5e24 from what I've seen. Hey, I'm so happy to hear that. I agree in that it is of the games that I've played recently, I think I'm going to be sticking with TOV. Partially just because I also like the direction that it's going with the Player's Guide 2 coming out, and like the addition of building like bases, and like the expansion of like the downtime activities, allowing for like running thieves guilds and businesses. It's giving me everything that I really want. As the pocket edition of the GM guides in the stores trying to support local? I can check. Let me check to see if they've hit stores yet, because I know they're available on the Kobold Press store. I can hold on. I'll check that for you. Just give me a second. Okay, cool. I will let you know as soon as I have an answer to that. But let's see what else. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's bam. That's the sale on the Kobold Press store. But we've also got another super cool thing that I'm very excited about coming, and that is Dungeons Deep. You can go get this pre-order this right now over on the Kobold Press store. I think it's looking at like a late this year, early next year release. I don't have hard dates on for that, but you know, keep a lookout. But basically, here's what Dungeons Deep is. This book is 16 drop-in dungeons. You can put them wherever you want in an existing setting. If you're starting to build your own, or you have your own homebrew game, you can take any of these dungeons and put them in. But it isn't just like one version of the dungeon. It's actually 3 versions of the dungeon for low level, medium level, and high level characters. So each dungeon has 3 variations with different monster loadouts for like upping the difficulty, and like but still like honing in on the themes of what that dungeon is. So you get a chance to like you get a chance to like, oh man, I've got a game that's coming up. I really want a cool dungeon. You know, oh, it's going to be, you're like, they're like level 13, right? What am I going to do? You can take literally any dungeon from this book, put it in, and it will be like the right level for your characters. And also, because this is like, it's mostly pulling monsters and stuff from other books. Mostly, you know, Monster Vault, you know, things that are easily accessible, right? But it isn't like it doesn't have the stat blocks for those characters necessarily, so it's designed in a way that's technically system neutral. You could play this in Tales of the Valiant. You could play it in D&D. You could play it in Pathfinder. You can play them in Daggerheart. They're like it's this book of dungeons, basically, that you can just, boom, throw into any game you want, or you could just take the pieces of those dungeons, like, if you just like the monsters for those dungeons, you could take that and put it into a dungeon you design. If you just like the dungeon part but want to make up your own monsters, hey, you could do that too. If there are just certain traps you want to take from, like, whatever you want to get out of this book, you can get out of it. So I think it's such an amazing thing that I hope we end up making more stuff like this, because that is like, it's so cool. Ooh, imagine putting the same party in that, but at different levels in their journey. Oh, like them coming back to the dungeon. That's so cool. I love that. That's a great idea, actually. Especially if they like, if it goes a direction where they don't like kill the boss, right? If it is like, you know, let's say like a goblin boss as like the end of the low level one, and then it gets like they have to come back because they're causing trouble again and they've only gotten stronger, like stuff like that is super cool. You could build a whole, yeah, genuinely, you could build a whole campaign around it. You could even, like, if you wanted to do like a generational style storytelling, right, of like different adventures going through like a similar like cleaning up the messes of like a previous group that had already came, right, and like you can like twist the story of them a little bit to say, okay, after those first adventurers came through, what happened next, or like, and like how have things changed. There's a lot of things you could do with this. It's super cool. Volume's a little low. Thank you. I can just turn that up for you. Hopefully that's better. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah, you've pushed the evil back for now. So yeah, this is Dungeons Deep. You can go pre-order it over in the Kobold Press store. It's going to be cheaper than like some of our other books. It's going to be sitting at $39.99 for the hardcover, $19.99 for the PDF. I'll drop the link in here. Oh, too loud. Far too loud now. Okay, hopefully that's somewhere in the middle of that. Sorry about that. Thank you. What was I saying? Oh yes, I'm dropping the link to the Dungeons Deep in the thing. So hopefully, there you go. Cool. Awesome. Better. Awesome. Thank you. Let's go. Okay, so yeah, that's Dungeons Deep. Next up, we are looking at the blog because, hey, I love the Kobold Press blog here. If this is your first time around or you somehow haven't heard me talk about the blog, you could go to koboldpress.com/blog, and basically every day we just have something new for you. And also all of it's free. So sometimes we have new subclasses. Sometimes we've got new monsters. Sometimes we've got new heritages and backgrounds. Sometimes it's lore and factions. Sometimes it's encounters. There's just so much in the Kobold Press blog that I think more people should know about, because I think it's pretty cool. And the one that we are looking at today came out 2 days ago? Yeah, a couple of days ago, which is this new series that Jeff has been doing called 24 Things to Do with Blank. Oh, that's the wrong thing I turned on. There we go. Any update on the Canadian shipping of the physical books? I don't have any personal update on the Canadian shipping. From what I remember, I believe there was some reason. This is a question. I'm sorry. This is a question for our customer support. They would know much more than me. If you email us at support@koboldpress.com, someone there can give you. We also, hold on. I could just give you the link to support. I could just give you the link. Should be. Boop. Support.koboldpress.com. See, this is why we look up things. So yeah, you can go send a support request, and it will. Hopefully, someone will be able to answer your question. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have more information about that. But Jeff has been doing this new blog called 24 Things to Do, where he is taking these ideas of like, okay, we've got all of these cantrips, and by all of these cantrips, I mean truly not a lot of cantrips, because for one reason or another, those cantrips just kind of get left behind, and we're like left with like the same like 10 of them every time we make a character. And so, oh, nice, cool. What was the thing I was saying? Oh, and we can, basically the idea of this blog is taking these different cantrips and, using them in like a bunch of new creative ways, such as like, well, I guess such as what is going to happen in here. Yeah, bring new life back into them, because sometimes you've just been sitting on mending and you have no idea how you want to use it, and you just don't. because you're always like, one day I'm going to use this. At some point, there's going to be something broken that I need to fix. And then that day never comes. Or maybe it could come if you have more ideas of how to use it. So here we go. Cantrips get ignored a lot of the time because they're not useful compared to higher circle spells. However, you can cast them as much as you want all day long, and quantity has its own sort of quality. There's a lure of something for nothing that comes in every cantrip. The cantrip is one that you read and think, that would be super useful in the world, especially if you were adventuring. However, 5e rules don't have much meaningful application of broken or torn items. A broken chain link or leaking wineskin has no effect on how the game actually plays, and only broad mechanical notes for how it might even happen. Often, objects do have ACs and hit points, and some who's trying to break an object can get it done, but the game is skewed heavily toward the characters mattering, not stuff mattering. How many pieces the thing breaks into or how many feet long those breaks are doesn't come up. That means it's down to role-playing and good judgment to determine whether and how mending gets used. Just the place for imagination. What I wouldn't do to have mending, like truly, yeah, prestidigitation and mending would be so useful every single day. So, here's the rundown on mending. This is a pretty straightforward cantrip. You can fix broken things as long as the break is no longer than 1 foot. The casting time of one action is a significant change from the 5th edition SRD version of the cantrip, which takes 1 minute to cast. 3rd edition D&D version was also only 1 action, so the D&D designers made this change on purpose, probably to keep players from spamming the spell for ill effect. Kobold Press hasn't seen any abuse with the cantrip in TOV with a 1 action cast time, but maybe now that we're talking about it, you can think of a few. Another clarification from 3rd edition that didn't make it into 5th edition is that mending can make broken pottery whole with 1 casting. A picky GM might lean into the single break or tear in an object and make a PC spend a while collecting all the bits and fixing a shattered ceramic tool. The 1 action casting time of TOV makes this less of an issue. Frankly, for all you GMs out there, it's safe to let 1 casting of the spells fix all the breaks under 1 foot long. However, if you want to introduce some time pressure, it would be legit to require a caster 1 minute to cast the spell 10 times to fix an item that had multiple breaks. Any longer, and you should probably just say it's too broken for mending to fix. You do have to touch whatever you're mending, so range shenanigans are hard with this cantrip. Remember, though, that arcane casters can use familiars to deliver touch spells within 100 feet. It probably won't come up too often, but once is enough to tell a good story. Divine casters? Well, you need to be hands-on for a lot of your spells, so you're probably used to it. The spell collects the whole set of This spell collects the whole set on components, verbal, somatic, and material. So when you cast it, you're going to be obvious. The material component is 2 lodestones. Even without mending, just having a magnetic rock around can be useful for the curious adventurer. If you want to mess with some fine ferrous contraption that the GM has described, you're armed. When the GM asks where your PC got a magnet, you can offhandedly mention that you have 2 of them in your spell component pouch. As a side note, you'll need a lodestone to cast Disintegrate and Reverse Gravity, so get used to carrying them around. The restrictions placed on mending within the spell description need a little scrutiny. First, it says that the spell repairs a single break or tear, no larger than 1 foot in any dimension. Here's that role-playing and judgment call business we talked about. What constitutes as a single break? If you've ever broken glass, you know it's almost never just breaks once. How long does it take to reassemble that hand mirror your barbarian smashed? That's up to your table. Best advice, do whatever seems fun over realistic. You can also use this spell to repair a non-magical object that has lost hit points 1 at a time. That's not going to be super useful to protect fortifications during a siege unless you have 3 dozen spellcasters working at the same time. However, if you're protecting a wizard school or a temple ground, you might just have the bodies for this trick. Your main gate can last for days against a battering ram. Need some more ideas? Here's 24 of them. All right. A big trick to thinking outside the proverbial box with mending is to think about what you could break on purpose and fix later. 5th edition rules such as D&D and Tales of the Valiant RPG don't have rules for a clean break. You can smash an object by removing all its hit points. Is that one break? That's a GM's call. Better to use controlled cuts to avoid having to convince your GM of anything. Speaking of GM calls, as always, a GM might be within rights to ask for an ability check or allow a creature to save to accomplish whatever unorthodox thing you're trying to accomplish with mending. So here are the 24. Rip up a contract to show good faith. It doesn't have to stay ripped. Need to get a 10-foot pole into a dungeon, break it down into 5 2-foot poles, and reassemble it on the other side. Fix a sword after it goes a couple of rounds with a rust monster. Retrieve more spent ammunition after a fight. Repair the wax seal you broke to read a sealed letter. Worried about your wagon getting stolen? Break a wheel when you leave it. Mend it when you get back. Fix a sinking boat damaged in naval combat. Break a padlock and fix it afterwards so it looks like you were never there. This trick works for window panes as well. Could be fun to utilize it in a whole fix this torn tapestry by picking its pieces and patch them together one by one fetch quest. Absolutely it could. A treasure can be too big to get out of that little hole you crawled out to find it. That's not a hindrance for mending. The precarious rope bridge gets a lot more stable once you're done with it. Maybe no one has to make a dex check to cross it anymore, or at least the check gets easier. Paper burned in fire might be at least partially restored. You might be able to reconstruct a burned message, too. It's a little outside of the spell's description, but bring cookies to the game and ask nicely. There's no statute of limitations on what you can mend, and some treasure moldering or water damage from decades in a wet cave? No problem. Make a dramatic point by breaking something valuable in front of NPCs, and, well, fix it later. Once the inevitable bar brawl concludes, you might get free drinks for helping fix up the place. Some of these ideas are about getting large things into small openings. Instead, you might widen the opening and repair that after the fact. See if you can get yourself a bonus to crafting results and downtime rules, because it's simple to fix cutting mistakes. Hide your contraband by cutting a hole in a sealed container, stash your goods inside, then mend it up. Yeah, no, these are so good. Get an edge in a duel by sabotaging your opponent and fixing the sabotage before anyone notices. Gaslighting goes fantasy. The object your target thought was broken is completely whole. Of course it is. Why would they have thought otherwise? What are they, crazy? Repeat. You know that trick where a magician cuts a rope and then it's somehow a complete rope when they're done? A mending spell means no sleight of hand required. Crowds love it. Coward magicians love it. You escape from captivity by breaking your bonds. Mend them so no one discovers how you did it. The trigger for some traps involve breakage. Reset the trap with a little judicious mend. Finally, when you arrive at a new place, set up a fix-it clinic for quick cash or easy goodwill. Think about how many slightly broken things you have around your living place. Would you pay a couple of bucks to have them magically fixed? Would you be grateful if someone showed up and fixed them for free? What else can you surprise your GM with? Yeah, no, these are so good. These are so good. Thank you, Jeff, for thinking of ways for us to abuse the mending spell. There's also another one of these. I'm trying to, 24 things to do with mending, 24 things to do with minor illusion, 24 things to do with mage hand. So you can check all of these out over on the Kobold Press blog. I'm just going to put that link in there for you. All right, so last up, we're talking Labyrinth Worldbook, the thing we're here to talk about. I said we're going to look at the subclasses in the lineages, and gang, that's exactly what we're going to do. Don't forget that you can go get the Labyrinth Worldbook over on the Kobold Press store right now. If you are in our Twitch chat, hey, you can bring that link up so easily by putting exclamation point labyrinth, bam, and then for our friends in our YouTube, I'm just gonna copy and paste it in here. Oh no, why did that link not work for you? I wonder if I have to HT. I probably do because of YouTube. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And it should still, yeah, it does. Okay, cool. All right, so the Labyrinth Worldbook, the path between worlds lie open. So let's dig into it. Let's check out the lineages. Gosh, I've been doing so much stuff talking about the Player's Guide 2 since then, and just like getting ready for the next stuff that's coming up, that it's been a while since I've revisited the Labyrinth, since the last scouting party and its thing. So I'm excited to see the actual mechanics of the lineages and subclasses that we talked about in it. So here we go. What a guy. Oh my god, what a guy. I suddenly tap the energy. Tap with the shoulder of an. Like, you could use Mage Hand as like a help action, I would think, of just like, hey, put it around. Like, tap them on the shoulder. Hey, how's it going? Alright, so let's talk about the Darrow. God, this is like, what a guy. What a guy, what a dude. He looks hungry for blood. So, Darrow are distant cousins to the small folk and dwarves, commonly found living in cavernous and lightless realms deep beneath the earth. Early in their history, the Darrow people became irrevocably changed by an encounter with horrific entities that dwell between the stars. And to this day, many born into Darrow society carry the same mental scars once inflicted on their ancestors. All Darrow possess an innate sensitivity to the void and the other eldritch horrors likely to cause dread. Those raised in insular Darrow communities tend towards more fragile states of mind, often displaying unpredictable or fanciful behavior, and are generally prone to delusions. The Darrow have adopted to life underground, where due to lack of sunlight or need for camouflage, Darrow often have semi-translucent gray, purple, or blue skin, crisscrossed with a web of blue veins. Their hair is almost often white or pale straw-colored, and often stylized with elaborate braids and equally prodigious mustaches. Their large eyes are commonly pure white, but may have a vibrant orange, red, or blue hue that glows in the utter darkness permeating their homes. Their diets are often composed of bioluminescent mushrooms from cavern and fish and kelp from cavernous lakes. Darrow often befriend giant slugs, worms, and bats, often providing the Darrow with transportation across the vast underworld. How dare you try to mess with me? Ooh, there's a little thing about how to use them in your campaign. Let's read the traits and then we'll go over it. Your Darrow characteristics. Your Darrow character has the following characteristics. They reach maturity around 15 and live about 75. You are small. Darrow stand between 3 and 4 feet, with slender hips and wide shoulders, averaging about 40 pounds. The base walking speed is 30, which, they don't have a slower walking speed, despite them being small. You have a dark vision to a range of 120 feet, and disadvantage in sunlight, as a lot of, Underdark, underground lineages have. Dread within. You have advantage on saves of being charmed or frightened because you're always scared. And then Psychic Barrier. The eldritch knowledge slithering in your mind has inured you to mental harm. You have resistance to psychic damage, and you have advantage on ability checks and saves made against effects that inflict dread effects or levels of Void Taint. So specifically, very good stuff within the Labyrinth. And if you're playing a Darrow, that is probably a signal to your game master that you want that stuff to be a part of the game. We stand a speed walking short kings. I'm never going to be mad at a speed walking short king. All right. The history of the Darrow is wrapped in difficult concepts and themes that may make your players at your table uncomfortable. Before including Darrow as a lineage option or introducing them as NPCs, it's important to check in with your players on whether or not they're comfortable with themes like mental health, sanity, and eldritch horror in your campaign. If players are fine to include these themes, it's also important to portray Darrow in a way that isn't disruptive to the fun or turns real-world mental illness into hurtful caricature. In truth, the Darrow are less violent and more peculiar in a quieter way than the common portrayal as rabid maniacs. They are likely to be brooding, depressed, or sullen as crazed and violent. Your Darrow character could have a tendency to talk to themselves, might address an invisible friend before making major decisions, or might simply consider all other members of the party as imaginary friends, and thus not subject to harassment. Treat the Darrow's fragile faculties as an occasional bit of flavor rather than an excuse to hamper the party with chaotic or self-defeating actions. For example of playable and flavorful maladies that afflict your Darrow, review the minor dread effects in the Game Master's Guide. I think a very good bit of advice. Okay. Next up, we've got the Dragonborn, which were very, so sadly missed by me in Player's Guide 1. And now we get these bad boys in the Labyrinth. And I love this guy. Look at him. He's so, I want to play him. I'm trying to figure out what he is. I think he's a sword. What? He's got a shield. He's able to use a shield. And also kind of has this magic thorn whip. It might be what this is. Paladin? Like an ancient oath paladin, maybe? The Thorn Whip. I'm trying to think of what learns Thorn Whip. Druids, Rangers. I guess it's Primordial, so anyone who could get a Primordial one. Your favorite player race? Well, hey, guess what? We've got it just for you. And for me, too. He looks 100 times better than the new D&D one. Hey? You said it, not me. Descended from mighty dragons, the Dragonborn are a lineage of imposing and strong draconic humanoids. Although they lack the wings of their ancestors, Dragonborn bodies are covered in scales. The reptilian heads bear crests and fanged jaws, and their hands and feet... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me move that over. There we go. And their hands and feet are adorned with talon-like claws. While their breath weapons can't match the terrible devastation dealt by older dragons, Dragonborn are nevertheless capable of unleashing deadly blasts of energy on their enemies. Dragonborn typically do not shy away from showing their emotions, whether anger or joy. They intend to share the same confidence and fierce independent spirit of their progenitors, coupled with a strong sense of family and clan. Some choose to live alongside dragons in communities near their lairs, or to serve them as guardians, soldiers, or seneschals. Elemental Dragonborn, descended from well-known dragon types that breathe acid, cold, lightning, and fire, are widespread throughout the worlds of the Labyrinth. These Dragonborn usually have brass or bronze-colored scales, sometimes tinged with red, blue, gold, or rust, while certain clans have glossy black, electric blue, shining gold, or glistening silver scales as their ancestors. Primordial Dragonborn have inherited their poisonous breath from their green dragon forebears and are most often encountered in the Old Ring and other forested worlds. Radiant Dragonborn have yellow dragon ancestors and are frequently found on Sunhome and other worlds where the sun shines brightly. In contrast, Void Dragonborn seem to prefer dark places and are well suited to surviving in harsh environments, including dead worlds and the near void. Ooh, baby. Yeah, we get our Radiant and our Necrotic Necrotic, I guess, would be the Void Dragon. Ooh. I love the yellow dragons. They're so cool. Especially because they, like, the grays out in the sun to absorb it, and then they shoot like radiant light beams, so I just imagine them like just doing like solar beams from Pokemon and just like raising out. It's so good. All right, so let's see. Our Dragonborn grow quickly and can walk a few hours after hatching from their eggs. They reach adulthood within 15 years and live to be around 80. Your size is medium. They stand about 6 to 7 feet tall and are heftily built and weigh around 300 pounds. Base walking speed, 30. Here's a Void Dragonborn. This guy, I love this guy. Yeah, he looks so happy. Yeah, he's just vibing. All right, so our draconic ancestry. So, as typical of the Dragonborn, as you would imagine, right? You pick a color, you get the breath weapon, you get the damage resistance. Black or copper, acid. Blue or bronze, lightning. Brass, gold, red, fire. Silver or white, cold. Green, poison. Void, necrotic. Yellow, radiant. Oh, this just means we need a psionic dragon at some point. Because I think that completes it, right? Yeah, psionic. Oh, no, well, psionic and then just, like, the neutral ones. Slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing. But those aren't elemental. But the psychic, we need a psychic dragon. That's all I gotta say. It probably exists somewhere, I'm sure. Very happy in the... Yes! The power of the void is here! Kind of way. Breath weapon. Bonus action breath weapon. Love that. Exhale a magical cone in either 30-foot line or 5 feet wide, or a 15-foot cone. You get to choose what it is during each use. That's cool. Having that ability to be like incredibly flexible with it and have like your choice of like, okay, right now I need the cone or I need the line. Love that. It is a dex modifier, which uses your con mod to make the DC, and it deals 1d10 damage to every creature with, the associated type. On a success, the creature takes half damage. It increases at 5th, 11th, and 17th level. You can use your breath weapon a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regaining all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I love that. You get to use it multiple times. That's a cool breath weapon. Love that. You've also got your dragon hide, which gives you, the resistance to your draconic ancestry, and then you also get dark vision. That's a good old dragonborn to me. Psychic dragon adjusting glasses. Tell me about your parents. How's your home life? Ooh, okay. This next one is one I've been super interested in, like, what they do with, which is the Gear Forged. I love the War Forged. Eberron, one of my favorite settings. And so, like, and in 4th edition, there was, I think, was it in the Eberron book? Or I think there was a Warforged specific supplement, which added a bunch of, like, equipment, gear, and, like, ways you could, like, plug in and unplug stuff from your character, which I really loved. So I'm interested in like the direction they go for the Gear Forged and how similar things might come up from that. The Gearforged are an artificial lineage of living minds inside mechanical bodies of metal and wood. Gearforged are created one at a time in arcane workshops and foundries and come from a vast array of backgrounds. Nevertheless, they maintain rich traditions of history, culture, and spirituality all their own. They are found in large numbers on the worlds of Armillery and Midgard, and in the Smithy, where they are often drawn to the Keepers of the Keys faction. Originally created as powerful soldiers, Gearforged must now find their own paths to navigate the second life they've been given. Many devote themselves to civil service or others to their gods. Some dedicate their extraordinarily long lives to the pursuit of knowledge. A few naturally seek out lives of adventure. All Gearforged were once other creatures with bodies of flesh and blood, but their conscious minds were transplanted into articulated bodies of iron, steel, brass, and wood, driven by pistons and springs. Each is as distinctive in appearance as any person. Some Gearforged spend a fortune on these new bodies, while others scrape together anything that will work, especially if the subject is aging or ill. All Gearforged are made in humanoid shape, often in the likeness of the person's original lineage, but not always. The vast majority of Gearforged are created and shaped like humans, who were the first creators of Gearforged, but many other variations exist. Gearforged have articulated joints, hands, feet, and crystal lens eyes. Gearforged mechanisms are more than mechanical, because Gearforged are machines with souls. Their arms and legs are driven by ever-wound springs. Their minds are actuated by memory gears, transverse cognition gearing, and the marvel of a soul gem connected directly to a maze of silver and mithril steam, spark, and magical conduits. These elements reside in a shell of iron, brass, and steel. Yo, that's so cool. I love them as being like this thing that humanity, some human probably did so that they can extend their life form, so that they can become like longer, but then it becoming a more widespread practice amongst a bunch of different lineages, and now becoming like its own like culture and people who are like, yeah, we are like, this is what it means to be a Gearforged to us. That's kind of sick. Gearforged components. So these are the three things that make up a Gearforged. It also means that becoming a Gearforged is a potential like transition for a character you're already playing, right? Let's say something happens and like their body has become like poisoned or like cursed in such a way, or like, you know, they're just dying of natural causes, or, you know, whatever it is. And like becoming a Gearforged is now an option for your character, which like the story potential, I'm sure, writes itself, right? I like the clockwork aesthetic more than, hey, look, a robot. Yeah, like this feels like something that was built, right? And like this very much feels much more than just like, oh, magical robot. This is like, I can tell that someone painstakingly crafted this thing. And it feels like so distinct to itself. I love it. Yet I still have some fight in me. Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so these are the three things that make up a Gearforged. Everwound springs. These magical springs provide energy over long periods, effectively acting as the power sources for most of the Gearforged's moving parts. A broken Everwound spring results in the loss of function in that digit or limb, much like a damaged joint or ligaments in flesh and blood creature. The soul gem, the mind of a Gearforged creature, is as sharp as that of any flesh and blood soul, but it is more portable. The animating, vital principle of a Gearforged, its will, its personality, its mind, are retained in a soul gem. The destruction of this gem means death of that Gearforged. Oof. I'm already imagining now the tragic scene of a character, their body broken, their party coming to try to save them, and watching as the last light flickers from their soul gem, signaling them being dead. Mwah. I need to play. That's all. Uh, Memory gears. These delicate constructions are scroll-like ribbons, pierced with thousands of pinholes and wound with the tiny enchantments of great complexity. The memory of a gear forged for all the days after its creation lives in the memory gears. Older Gearforged have many such gears, and the material component for the magic to create them requires one new gear for every 10 years of life. Installing a new memory gear requires 1 day's work and 2,000 gold pieces. Ooh. Other Gearforged can read memory gears salvaged from dead Gearforged, but it's a complex, time-consuming process. It's also viewed with some alarm by most Gearforged, akin to peering into the most private details of a creature's life. When a used memory gear is installed in a new or existing Gearforged, the process takes 3 days' work to avoid damaging the memories in the gear, and it takes 1 week before the recipient can fully interpret and understand the memories. Oh man, there's so much potential. There's so much story potential with the Gearforged. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. The soul inhabiting a Gearforged can be any age. If its new body is kept in good repair, there is no known limit to how long it can function. If you keep fixing it, it just keeps working. When you first create your Gearforged character, you must choose a different lineage option, like human, dwarf, minotaur, so on and so forth, to inform the basic shape and size of your chassis. The outermost layer of your constructed body, your size, is determined by the lineage you pick. If you choose a lineage with multiple size options, you may choose between them. For example, if you choose to have a Kobold chassis, you may choose whether your size is small or medium. Love that. Every Gearforged looks completely different. Love it. 2 Gearforged characters, 1 perishes, but the other adapts. Yeah, like literally. It's like, it's so good. It's so good. And like, imagine like, what if some of that memory is damaged, right? And so like, they can't fully read it. Like, imagining like visions or like weird like dreams using the memories of another person, or like their memories and the memories of this other person being mashed together, so it's like hard to tell like what's actually true. Like there's so much there. Base walking speed is 30. They are a hybrid humanoid. Your humanoid soul inhabits a machine, making you primarily a humanoid. However, your constructed body gives you traits common with constructs. You're immune to disease, and you have resistance to poison damage. In addition, you have advantage against being paralyzed, petrified, or poisoned. If the other was suspected of betrayal, but their memory reveals their unwavering loyalty. The drama, the tears. Yeah, no, it's so good. Constructed vitality. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe, and you don't sleep the way most creatures do. Instead, you enter a dormant state for 6 hours a day when you resemble a statue and remain unconscious. While in this dormant state, you have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks. After resting in this way, you gain the same benefit that other creatures do from 8 hours of sleep. You also have machine speech. You can speak and understand machine speech, a mechanical language of clicks, beeps, and clacks spoken almost solely by Gearforged and Mechadrons. And then also, upgrade. You can choose one of the following traits to represent a specialized function built into your chassis. See, this is the stuff. This is the good stuff. Always armed. This is actually my favorite one. This was my favorite thing. You can integrate a melee weapon into each of your arms, a maximum of 2 weapons, 1 per arm. You can't integrate weapons with two-handed property. If you integrate a weapon with ammunition property, you must still provide a separate supply of ammunition for firing and loading. You can still integrate or replace a suitable weapon over the course of 10 minutes. You got the the arm blades, the cyberpunk arm blades. So cool. No, it's not. No. You can do ranged weapons, but if it has the ammunition property, you still have to use it, right? So you can put a crossbow in, but you have to have your own crossbow bolts to use it. You can still like sneak in like the weapons and stuff. So yeah, ranged weapons still work. You just have to have the ammunition. Love always armed. Love that. There's more. Okay. While a weapon is integrated, you can't willingly be disarmed of it by any means, though you can use an action to remove the weapon from your body, so it may be thrown or dropped. You can draw or sheath an integrated weapon as normal, which causes the weapon to fold into a spring from your arm instead of a sheath. While an integrated weapon is drawn, it is considered held in that arm's hand for the purposes of determining whether you have a free hand available to cast spells or use similar features. You automatically succeed on any ability checks made to conceal an integrated weapon when it is sheathed. Boom, sneak into the party with my daggers, baby. Bulk up. As a bonus action, you can activate a set of special gears inside of your body to extend your limbs and temporarily increase your size to large. This effect lasts a number of rounds equal to your proficiency bonus, and while enlarged, your weapon attacks do an extra 1d4, and your strength checks are made and saves are made with advantage. If you lack the room to become large, this bonus action fails. After you use this trait, you can't do it again until you finish a long rest. Oh, boom. Oh, the like, just imagine like all of the gears and plates shifting as you like transform into something bigger. That's sick. Quick fix. When you're below half your hit point maximum, you can use a bonus action to quickly apply a patch up to your damaged body. You gain temporary hit points equal to twice your proficiency bonus. You can't use this trait until you finish a short or long rest. Nice. You're out there, you're on the run. And also, again, this bullet point style means you at home, if you think of an upgrade, you can easily pick one. You can easily make one for yourself and make it an option for your players. Also, call an upgrade. I don't see why you couldn't give one as like a reward to your players through like the Keepers of the Keys or like another Mechanist. I know that the Mechanist was made by Celeste to be a little bit like kind of like Full Metal Alchemist, and so knowing that the Gearforged come from living people who were turned into it, you can now quite literally do the Elric brothers by having a Mechanist make their brother into a Gearforged. I know that had to be part of it. I know that had to be part of the inspiration, and you know what? That's the power of being a game designer. You can, if you have an idea and you want to do your cool thing, you can just do it and no one can stop you. All right, next up we have the Minotaur. As the first people to discover the labyrinth and learn how to navigate its pathways centuries ago, Minotaurs are found throughout the 10,000 worlds, particularly in the worlds of the Old Ring and on Midgard, where there are numerous connections to the Great Maze. Minotaurs are imposing and powerful, with a reputation for ferocity that borders on monstrous. They display their achievements proudly by decorating their horns with engraved sigils and designs. If one is versed in Minotaur custom, one can tell at a glance the achievements and prowess of a Minotaur by examining the decoration on their horns. A Minotaur who loses part or all of a horn suffers considerable stigma and must strive to prove their worth. Sometimes a broke horn, a fighting insult to any Minotaur who manages to achieve great deeds, earns the gift of having the missing horn magically restored by a temple. Beware any minotaur that willingly gives up or chooses not to restore their horn, for this is one of the labyrinth's most driven and dangerous creatures. Minotaurs are a force to be reckoned with in a stand-up fight, perhaps somewhat against type for their bulk. They are an absolute terror on the high seas, and many minotaurs have taken to the waves where their natural sense of direction makes them ideal navigators. Other bullfolk prefer to remain on land, dwelling in settlements that often incorporate twisting labyrinths of switchbacks and dead ends. In the largest Minotaur cities, the city's leader or reigning monarch typically lives in a palace at the center of a large maze. All right, let's look at their traits. Bam. Minotaurs' childhood ends around the age of 10, and they become adults at 15. Minotaurs live to be around 80 years old. Their size is medium, and their height can reach around 7 feet, and they weigh around 300 pounds. Speed is 30 feet, and they have natural attacks, because guess what? They got those horns. Your horns are sturdy and sharp. Your horns are a natural melee weapon, which you can use to make unarmed strikes. When you hit with your horns, they deal piercing damage equal to 1d6 plus your strength modifier, instead of bludgeoning damage normal for an unarmed strike. You also have your charge attack. Once per turn, you can move at least 10 feet forward, 10 feet toward a target and hit it with a horn attack in the same turn. You deal an extra 1d6 piercing damage, and you can shove the target up to 5 feet as a bonus action. At 11th level, you can shove the creature with charge. You can push it up to 10 feet instead. And you can use this trait a number of times per day, equal to your proficiency bonus, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. And Labyrinth Sense. You can retrace without error any path you have previously taken with no ability check. That's the power. That's the power. Let's see. Okay, and then I think this is the... Oh, no, this is the... We still have the variant, and we might only get through the lineages this time, game, because I forgot how many of them there are. Because we still have the satyr, and then we have the new variant dwarf lineage, the midnight dwarf. We have the variant elf lineage, the star elf, and then we have the Siderian spellborn. So, yeah. We're going to get through those today, and then I think that's about all we've got in us. Or I should say, all I have in me. But yeah, no, I really I love the Minotaur. I love all of these lineages. They're so flavorful. There's so many stories that I immediately just start thinking of characters and NPCs and storylines. It's got the juice. It's got the juice. From the waist up, satyrs look like most humanoids, albeit with ram-like horns protruding from their foreheads. From the waist down, satyrs look like overgrown goats with dark cloven hooves and thick fur that matches the hair on their heads. As such, many cultures call satyrs goatmen or use other terms that emphasize their apparent bestial and masculine attributes. This reputation could hardly be further from the truth. Satyrs are fey creatures who often dwell in forests, but they can be found anywhere where they can connect to the fey world. Ideally, such locales also have somewhere where the satyrs can dance, revel, and make mischief. Due to their hirsute facial features, satyrs are commonly mistaken as males. For satyrs, facial hair is not uniquely masculine features, and satyrs can have any gender identity. They commonly have long, dexterous fingers, which are well suited for playing the various piped instruments that satyrs are associated with using. Satyrs reach adulthood after 20 years. They live longer than many humanoids, often reaching to 300 years or more. Your size is medium. Most satyrs are slender, often weighing 140 pounds, and generally stand between 5 and 6 feet tall. Base walking speed of 30. They are fey instead of humanoid. which means they're going to get this Fey resilience and such. And they have Bounding Leap. After hitting a creature with a melee attack weapon, a melee weapon attack, or unarmed strike, you can use your reaction to move half your speed. This movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. You may use this trait a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. I love that it includes unarmed strike as well, because a satyr monk moving in and out of combat like that is pretty sick. And also getting that using a reaction for it as well, pretty good. But also they have a natural attack, which works with it as well, because they also have horns that serve as a natural weapon and can be used to make unarmed strike. You deal 1d8 plus your strength or dex, your choice. Choose which during character selection, and it does bludgeoning damage. I think that's supposed to say piercing damage instead of bludgeoning damage. Bit of a typo there, but hey. It's pretty easy to find out because it says we have horns, and it's the same thing as the Minotaur. The satyr. I think I've played a satyr before. I think I played a satyr in like 4E. I played like a satyr scald, I want to say, because there was like a Feywild like supplement that had it. So now I get to play satyr bard again. Let's go. Love that. What am I? Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. So we're gonna get through the variant lineages, and then we're gonna call that a day. So we've got the Midnight Dwarf, descendants of a clan of dwarves who were exposed to the corruption of the void. Many centuries ago, a powerful clan of dwarves ruled a vast subterranean realm of magnificent halls and chambers, and hundreds of miles of tunnels and mines. As they expanded the boundaries of their kingdom ever deeper, the dwarves' excavations uncovered a rift to the void. Come on, you gotta stop digging so deep. You gotta stop digging so deep. You're gonna open up a rift to the void. Come on. When are you gonna learn? Although the dwarves acted quickly to seal off the fissure and collapse the surrounding caverns, the damage was already done. The corrupting power of the void infected the population, affecting body and mind. Most succumbed to the void and perished, but those who were resilient enough survived to become the first Midnight Dwarves, now scattered throughout the labyrinth. Midnight Dwarves can withstand some of the effects of the void and live on worlds that others would find uncomfortable. Midnight Dwarves are typically thinner and more barrel-chested than many of their dwarf cousins. Their skin is very fair or pale, while their hairs and beards are black and dark brown. Midnight Dwarves often have cauliflower ears, and their bodies are covered in strange dark marks, which they incorporate into tattoos of tentacles and other void motifs. All right, their age, they mature around age 20. They still consider themselves young until about age 50, and they live to be about 350 years. Your size is medium, standing about between 4 and 5 feet tall, and weigh around 120 pounds. Base walking speed, 30. Dark vision, 60 feet. Dead world walker. When you are on a dead world or in the void, you have advantage on wisdom survival checks and with, the wisdom thing. And your speed isn't halved when you move through non-magical or difficult terrain. Your speed isn't halved when you move through non-magical or magical difficult terrain. Understood. You suffer other penalties caused by moving through difficult terrain as normal. Ooh. Just built different. Just built to go through dead worlds. And then also they are marked by the void. You are resistant to psychic damage, and the amount of time you can survive without air, food, water, or sleep is double that of a typical character. Very much suited for a Labyrinth campaign. And then, yeah, lastly, oh no, not lastly, because we still have the elf and Siderian. The Star Elves. Star Elves are a variant elf lineage. The Star Elves claim to be the first elves, the blessed descendants of the children of Salama and Sabaticus. Sabatius, there we go. Their pride in their divine ancestors means they can seem aloof or even arrogant to others. Both Celestia and Sunhome have large Star Elf populations, often affiliated with the Concord of Stars faction. There are significant numbers living in the Summerlands, and Star Elves can also be found throughout the Labyrinth, particularly on worlds with lofty mountain peaks or wide open spaces with a clear view of the sunrise and the night sky, allowing them to pay homage to their deities at dawn and at midnight. Star Elves have pale, tanned, or brown skin with golden sheen and with a golden sheen and blonde or silver hair. Eyes are usually gold, green, or silver. They have the slender physique of other elves, but have developed broad, rounded chests from living at high altitudes. They mature around age 20. Mental and emotional faculties reach full maturity around the age of 100, and they live to be around 750. Long lived indeed. They are somewhere between 5 to 6 feet tall, tend towards slender builds averaging around 125 pounds. Walking base speed is 30 feet. They have divine ancestry, meaning they have advantage on saves against being blinded, and magic cannot put them to sleep. They have stellar stride. When in bright or dim light, you can cast the Misty Step spell, and you can use this ability a number of times per day, equal to your proficiency bonus, and regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for this. Ooh. So basically just like the star version of like being able to do it like in like dim light and darkness. And then also they have trance. They don't need to sleep. Instead, they enter meditative trance for 4 hours a day. You know, the typical elf stuff. They were born with real estate in the Hamptons. Truly. Oh, yes. And then, I'm super interested about this one. The Siderians. Spellborn is an option you can choose when you select the natural adaptation for your Siderian character. During character creation, in addition to the celestial and fiendish options, you can choose Spellborn. You possess notable physical characteristics that mark your connection to the raw energy of the arcane magical source. You might have opalescent skin, covered with mysterious shifting glyphs, motes of glowing light that hang around your forehead like fireflies, or involuntarily emit sparks of electricity or cinders in moments of stress, and you gain the following. Energy form. Once per long rest, you can use a bonus action to assume an otherworldly guise for 1 minute. When you do so, choose one of the following damage types: acid, cold, fire, lightning, or thunder. Your body becomes semi-corporeal, appearing partially made of mist, electricity, smoke, or a similar substance that reflects your chosen damage type. In this state, you have resistance to bludgeoning and more stuff. Bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical attacks. And you are immune to the restrained condition. While transformed, once on each of your turns, when you deal damage with an attack or spell, you can choose to convert the damage type to your chosen damage type. I love this as because in general I love expanding on this like Siderian concept of like, oh, like this lineage of people that are like are one thing but have been like fundamentally changed by their connection to like an external force, right? Like fiendish being the devils and demons, and you know, or I guess abyssal would be demons. Whatever. Fiendish being like devils, celestial being like angels, and like this one being like more raw magic. Like this feels, honestly, all of the like Siderians kind of feel like something that someone could potentially be changed into, like talking about how the Gearforged are kind of transformative in the way, being Spellborn could also be transformative, right? Like over the course of the campaign, something happens, like your character either is like blessed, gifted, or somehow transfused with raw magic. Boom, give them energy form now. It's just a thing that they have, and now they're technically a Siderian. You don't have to change all the other stuff, but you can give them this natural adaptation. Same for all of the other options, genuinely. I think it's super cool. It's super cool. A lot of the stuff that we've been finding here in the Labyrinth is just so juicy, filled with so much flavor, so much style, so much spunk. I don't know why I chose that word. But it's so cool. I love the Labyrinth. And next week, we're going to be checking out the Labyrinth Adventures, which is the book that came out alongside the Labyrinth Worldbook that is filled with, I know this. I think it's 12. I think it's 12 adventures that world-hopping adventures across various worlds within that are connected to the Labyrinth, but also through the Labyrinth itself. Obviously, it can be a whole campaign, or it can just be one-off, like one-shots that you drop into your game that you're already running. However you want to do it, you can do it. But we'll be talking about that next week. So until then, don't forget to go get the Labyrinth Worldbook, because it's sick, and you get so many, like, all of that was just the lineages, right? You still have heritages, subclasses, spells, magic items. If you want all the character stuff, but GMs, there's a whole world of 10,000 worlds with factions, pantheons, like all of these, like if just reading through the lineages could give us ideas for like all these stories we could tell, just wait until you actually like read the lore for these places, right? Like it's so good. So go get the Labyrinth Worldbook right now. Hey, if you get the hardcover in that PDF, you also get free shipping. So it's a good time. It's a good time this summer to go out and play some more games. But until we come back next week, I've been Kendrick or Kendo, whichever you prefer. And don't forget to go out, be bold, be brave, be valiant. And I'll see you next week. Bye.